Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a truly profound teaching from the mystical Zohar. It's this wild idea that the simple act of walking through your front door after a trip, well, it can be an event of cosmic importance. We're going to unpack the hidden spiritual mechanics of how being apart can actually make a reunion exponentially more powerful.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll start with this absolutely beautiful cinematic scene straight from the Zohar. Then we're going to uncover why this simple reunion is seen as a sacred duty. From there, we dive into the real core of this teaching, a hidden energy model I like to call the cosmic circuit. And we'll wrap it all up by seeing how this entire dynamic reaches its absolute peak on Shabbat.
You know, the Zohar doesn't just start with some dry rule or abstract concept. Nope, it drops us right into a movie scene. It paints this picture so vividly, you can almost feel the shift in the air, you know? It's that moment of transition from the noise of the outside world to the quiet sanctuary of home.
Okay, I want you to really imagine this. Picture a traveler, could be anyone, a scholar, a merchant, finally making his way home after a long journey. The sun is low, casting these long, dramatic shadows. You can almost hear the crunch of his footsteps, feel that deep weariness in his bones, and see the dust of the road still clinging to his clothes. He's been out there, dealing with the whole world. But now his entire being, his entire focus is on one single point, that front door.
So he gets to the door, and as it swings open, it's not just the familiar furniture that greets him, it's a presence. The Zohar says his wife is literally illuminated, not by a candle, but by an inner light. And the text explains, this light is the light of the Shekhinah, the divine presence itself, which has made its home right there with her.
And the way the text describes their reunion, it's just filled with this incredible warmth. It's not just a quick hello. It's a moment of pure, profound joy that feels like it fills the entire house. The Zohar frames this as something truly sacred, the completion of a whole. Two halves of a single soul, separated by time and distance, are finally coming back together. It's a moment of real, deep peace.
Okay, so we've got this beautiful, really heartfelt moment. But the Zohar does something amazing. It takes it a step further. It elevates this act from just a nice feeling into a cornerstone of spiritual life. It becomes a sacred duty, a divine commandment.
But you gotta ask, right? Why would such a natural human act need to be commanded? It seems obvious. Of course you should be happy to see each other. The text is pushing us, though. It's telling us to look deeper, because there's something much bigger happening right beneath the surface. This very personal reunion is actually a key piece in a much larger cosmic puzzle. And here it is. This is the crucial insight. The commandment is to bring joy to his wife, but the Zohar gives this joy a specific technical name, Simchat Onah. And it says this joy, it isn't just her joy, it is channeled directly to the divine presence. Now just think about that for a second. By creating this moment of happy, loving connection, he is in a very real, tangible sense bringing joy to the divine. The personal becomes cosmic.
Now, to really wrap our heads around how this actually works, we need to look at this hidden model the Zohar is laying out. It's like a kind of spiritual physics. And to make this ancient idea a little easier to grasp, we're going to use a modern tech analogy.
Okay, so the Zohar teaches that when a person is away from home, they enter this unique spiritual state. It's called a zivug elyon, which means a supernal union. So here's our analogy. Think of his home as the main server. While he's traveling, he becomes like a remote laptop. But, and this is the key part, it's a laptop with a high-speed, encrypted connection to a divine cloud. He might be physically separate, but on a higher plane, he is more connected than ever.
So this breaks down the whole process into 4 steps. First, you have separation. This creates a potential charge he carries with him, the Zivug Elyon. Second, the journey. This supernal connection acts like a spiritual firewall, protecting him from all the chaos out there. Third, homecoming. He has to reconnect to his home node, his wife, to sync back up. And finally, number 4, actualization. In their physical union, the circuit is completed. All of that stored spiritual energy is downloaded, released into the world. It's the transfer of sacred potential into sacred reality.
All right, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's unpack the mystical mechanics of what this energy release actually is. Because the Zohar doesn't just say, poof, energy is released. No, it gives us the actual schematics for how it all goes down.
So in the language of Kabbalah, you have these divine channels called the severity, which is how divine energy flows into our world.
And in this sacred union, two of them are absolutely key. The masculine principle is called yesod, which means the foundation. Think of it as the conduit, the channel for this divine flow. The feminine principle, his wife, embodies malchut, which means the kingdom. She is the vessel, or, to stick with our analogy, the terminal that receives this sacred energy and brings it fully into reality.
So what kind of energy are we talking about here? What's flowing through this conduit? Well, the Zohar is incredibly specific. It's an energy that's infused with the quality of the number 13. Now, in Jewish mysticism, 13 is the number of the 13 attributes of divine mercy. So this isn't just any old energy, it's the energy of pure, unconditional love and kindness, the very force that can sweeten all the harshness in the world.
So, where does all this amazing energy of mercy go? It flows into the vessel, into Malkut, to do a very specific job, to balance out an opposing force which is called the 5 Gavurat, or the 5 severities. Think of these as the raw, untamed energies in the world. Things like strict judgment, raw power, and even passionate desire. These forces are absolutely essential, but if they're not balanced by kindness, they can be pretty harsh.
Let's use a color to really visualize this. Think of that raw energy of desire as the color red. It's fire, it's passion, it's power. It's totally essential for life to exist. But in its raw, untamed state, it's just pure force.
But then, when that flow of divine mercy, which is called chesed, or loving kindness, is channeled through the conduit of yesod and received by the vessel of malkut, it completely transforms that raw red energy. That intense desire is elevated, it's purified, and it's turned into the brilliant white of holy, sanctified connection. The severity gets sweetened by mercy. The physical act becomes a channel for divine love. It's incredible. So you can look at this whole amazing process in two different ways. For the engineers out there, you can see it as a perfect cycle of cosmic engineering. A remote system gathers potential energy, returns to the core system to reintegrate, and completes a circuit to generate a sanctified output, like a new holy soul. And for all the gamers and the young at heart, think of it like a video game. The hero goes out on a quest collecting all these power-ups. When they return to their home base, they can cash in that stored power to level up and unlock new creative abilities for their entire world.
Now, this whole dynamic we've been exploring, this idea of separation building up spiritual potential and reunion releasing it, it reaches its absolute highest, holiest peak on one specific day of the week. You know, the mystical texts teach that Shabbat itself is the bride, who arrives in our world each and every week. So just like that traveler journeying home, our entire week is a journey towards this ultimate holy union. We prepare our homes for this divine guest with a lit candle for spiritual light, a set table for abundance, and a prepared bed for sacred intimacy.
And this is the crucial point, the absolute apex. On Shabbat, the sacred union we've been describing is elevated to its highest possible level. The connection is no longer just between two people, or even just between them and the divine presence. It's a union with the very essence of Shabbat itself. The home literally becomes a temple, and the couple's bedroom becomes the Kodesh HaKodeshim, the Holy of Holies, the most intimate point of connection between our world and the heavens.
And this just leaves us with this profound final thought, doesn't it? An ancient text took one of the most ordinary parts of life, just coming home, and revealed it to be a key for cosmic connection. It really makes you wonder, what other incredible potentials are hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to discover them in our own daily routines? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.